But that may be a good segue to the second match, Brian. Cut your own ear off and thinking you're Van Gogh. We got Darby Allin. Darby Allin and Pac. Do you know this match was probably, for 10 minutes or so, the only thing that I saw all night in this program that really exhibited some kind of professionalism. The rest of it was a mess, but Darby Allin and Pac can work. They did wrestling. It was crisp. It was quick. It wasn't rushed, and it wasn't goddamn ludicrous gymnastics, arm drags, counters, mat wrestling, go-behinds, headlock takeovers. Their shit looked good. They can do it. And then Pac gave Darby Allin a full extended press slam off the apron, flat of his back on the fucking floor for a heat spot.
Yeah. Let's stop right there if you don't mind.
Please. I wish they would have.
What an angle that could have been. Just a guy picking up a guy and throwing him like that. I never saw anything like that as a wrestling fan growing up. If someone did that and they made it like a big hospitalization thing, because why wouldn't you? That's amazing. They did that, and this match just kept going, and that's kind of the tale of the entire night.
It kept going. And again, yes, that's the thing where the heel would, well, again, that was an angle. People can look it up on YouTube. In Memphis, Joe LeDuc put Jerry Lawler over his head and fucking pitched him over the top rope. And Lawler's idea was to go 10 feet and land in kind of a splash position on that big oak ringside table. And the problem was LeDuc only got him 9 feet. He hit the edge of that table, took a bump onto the concrete floor off of that, and tore a muscle in his thigh, I believe. It was out for 3 weeks, so whatever the fuck. But this was again, you would do that to a baby face, then you would call the goddamn ambulance and you'd put him on a backboard, you'd take him out, and he would want to get even. Or they could continue the match. And then Darby beat the count at 8, and then he was all taped up from where he'd been set on fire a week and a half ago. And he really did have burns because Pac rips all his tape off and show. I mean, it wasn't like he was goddamn disfigured, but he had, he's more on fire than I want to be. And he worked on the burns, and then he shot Darby off, and Darby took a flying bump through the turnbuckle through the buckles to the floor. And it was amazing. I mean, it made Ray Stevens look earthbound. And I wrote, oh my God, what a great bump for a count out loss. And they kept going. If you had done that, again, that bump, save it. Like I told Jericho that time, it bump over the top, head first to the post or whatever. Save it for the big show when you need it and do it, or the angle or whatever. Then Darby was back doing missile drop kicks off the top rope and to the floor, where he took a worse bump than Pac did. And then Pac gives Darby a German suplex into the corner on his head, and Darby just jumps up and clotheslines Pac, and then they both sell forever. How could you be thrown on your fucking head? And then it slowed down because they were getting more heat on Darby, and badly. It lost momentum. I wrote, why don't they go home? Because they apparently got a set time they've got to fill, and they ran out of tricks. And then Pac misses a splash off the top rope. Darby gets a scorpion deathlock. Here comes Wheeler Useless. And he jumped he got in the ring in front of the referee. And Darby went over and put his hands on it. The referee didn't disqualify it. He's just like, oh, don't do that. And while the referee's telling Wheeler to get out, Pac got Darby's Sting Memorial black baseball bat and hit him in the head with it and covered him 1, 2, 3. So at least the baseball bat worked. But he had to hit him. Brian, you always used to swing at balls in the playground like that, where you hold both ends of the bat and cover it with your hand. That kind of awkward swing.
Maybe if I'm playing pool drunk.
But that's usually why you don't hit most people with bats in the head, because you can't work it. But nevertheless, it was a good match by AEW standards. Darby wasted a couple of great bumps that, as we mentioned, could have been maximized to make something. But still, there wasn't furniture. These guys are athletic. So by these standards, good match, rotten finish. And the note that every time Darby's matches start to get over with me, he does something in it to remind me that he's in a real life a fucking moron. But it wasn't going to get any better than this. I don't know. What did you think?
I mean, I got to the point where, and it's happening all the time with his matches, and it ended up happening a lot on this show in general. I kind of don't want to see Darby do everything he can to almost die. And, the press slam spot, that should have been it. And if it wasn't going to be it, you should have saved it for the end, because it looked incredible.
But fortunately, now we know it didn't hurt him at all, because he was up doing shit minutes later.
And the biggest problem overall, beyond anything else, with Death Rider's matches are guaranteed interference. And it happened here again. And I feel like you get a collective groan when it happens. It's the opening match, technically, of the pay-per-view. And it's with Darby. You got to figure there'll be something, but I feel like that kind of felt deflating here.
Well, and they, for whatever reason, they want to beat Darby with Pac, which I don't see, be honest with you. Darby's still has that appeal. So they had to give him an out, but it wasn't enough that the goddamn guy used a baseball bat. The other guy had to come out and because they can't figure out another way to distract a referee, or it doesn't. This is Tony's thing. We're going to start with the match for a couple $100,000. Then we're going to have a fucking TikTok celebrity. Then we're going to have a match with blow off pyro in the middle of it with a 6-man tag with people joining in the middle. Then we're going to have a single match where somebody runs out and somebody gets hit with a ball bat and nearly hospitalized on several occasions.